Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines we have the Minister of Infrastructure on a mission is to Addis Ababa. Official ceremony marking the end of the first level military certificate CM1 training course at Gendarmerie. For the international scene, official end to the Ebola outbreak following an exemplary health response in Uganda. Welcome to our newsroom. As part of strengthening the strategic partnership between the Republic of Djibouti and the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, a high-level Djiboutian delegation paid an official visit to Addis Ababa from July 29 to 31, 2026, led by His Excellency Said Nur Hassan, Minister of Infrastructure and Equipment. This mission brought together key officials from the Djiboutian port and railway sectors. It was held at the invitations of his Ethiopian counterpart, His Excellency Dr. Alemu Sime Feisa, Minister of Transport and Logistics. This visit is part of the ongoing dialogue between the two sister nations and aims to strengthen bilateral cooperation in the areas of transport, logistics, and the development of regional corridors and infrastructure modernization. On July 30, Minister Said Nur Hassan was received at the headquarters of the Ethiopian Ministry of Transport and Logistics following introductions of the two delegations. Closed-door discussions focused on key strategic issues and projects of common interest with a shared commitment to further strengthen multimodal cooperation between Djibouti and Ethiopia. On July 13, the two ministers visited the Moyo Dry Port, a strategic logistic hub in Ethiopia. Following the towers of the facilities, an official ceremony marked the transfer to the Djiboutian government of the rights of occupy a 50,000 meter square plot of land designated for logistics activity. This allocation is the result of commitment made during previous bilateral meetings, represent a significant step forward for the port community and Djiboutian road haulers. This will provide a modern and secure space dedicated to parking, driver rest areas, and logistical operations within Ethiopian territory. The programs continued with a visit to the Indo-De railway stations, where the two delegations observed the progress of the freight zone construction is designated to enhance the operational capacity of the Ethiopia-Djibouti international railway line. On July 31, the Djiboutian delegation visited the Lebu railway station's headquarters of the binational company Djibouti Railway. Discussions with company officials allowed for an assessment of the current performance of the railway networks and examinations of development prospects for this strategic infrastructure central to regional economic integration. This official visit concluded on a positive note, marking a new stage in strengthening Djiboutian-Ethiopian cooperation based on mutual trust, economic complementarity, and a shared vision for regional development. The Summer Activity 2026 launched under the banners of Youth, Cultures, and Talent Discovery, providing young Djiboutians with a space for expressing leisures and showcasing their talent. This is the objectives of the Summer Activity 2026. Officially launched Thursday evening at the Theatre of the Saline by the Ministry of Youth and Culture in partnership with the State Secretariat for Sports. The opening ceremony was presided over by the Ms. Fardousa Moussaïge, Minister of Youth and Culture, in the presence of Ms. Fatoum Ali Abdallah, Secretary of State for Sports, the Vice President of the Bulaus Municipality, representative from UNICEF, the World Health Organization, CREFA, representatives from community development centers, as well as numerous young people and guests. The launch was marked by the first editions of the National Talent Search Competition for young singers. Several young artists showcased their performances before an enthusiastic audience of a jury tasked with evaluating them. At the end of this first evening, 10 candidates qualified for the next stages of the competition, which will continue every Thursday evening at the Theatre of the Saline until the grand final scheduled for August 27, 2026. include in particular football tournament, video games competitions, football and table tennis tournament, and religious conferences. In her address, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Fardousa Musaige, emphasized that these activities reflect the government's commitment under the visionary leadership of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, to providing young people with a space dedicated to their development, creativity, and civic engagement. She also encouraged young people to participate in the various stages of the competitions and the numerous activities planned throughout the summer. The National Gendarmerie celebrated the graduations of the 2025 class for the first degree military certificate. The National Gendarmerie celebrated the completions of the first degree military certificate training course for the class of 2025 on Thursday, July 13, 2026, during a ceremony presided over by the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, at the institution's headquarters. This class, composed of 31 gendarmes, including 2 women, successfully completed an intensive 3-month training program designed to strengthen their military tactical and command skills, preparing them for their future role as group leaders in combat. For 12 weeks, the trainees benefited from a program combining theoretical instructions and practical exercises covering combat topography, the general disciplinary regulations of the armed forces, international humanitarian law, and several other military disciplines. The training concluded with a series of assessments, including a writing exam, shooting exercises, a 8-kilometer commando march, and a raid to the Ali Sabih regions. Following these tests, all trainees passed with an overall average of 1620, demonstrating their commitment and the quality of the instructions they received. During the ceremony, the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie promoted them to the rank of principal gendarmes, marking their integrations into the rank of the non-commissioned officers of the National Gendarmerie. Now called upon to assume new responsibilities, these young non-commissioned officers will continue their missions, serving the security of citizens and protecting the interests of the Republic, guided by the values of discipline, honor, loyalty, and dedication. In Tadjourah, several individuals arrested and suspected stolen goods recovered as part of the fight against crimes and the protection of citizens' property. Officers from the Tadjourah police stations conducted an operation that led to the arrest of several individuals and the recovery of numerous suspected stolen items. The investigations launched following several cases of burglaries and serial thefts resulted in the recovery of various goods, including fans, light fixtures, wheelbarrows, construction materials, new vehicle parts, and several other items. The arrested individuals were brought before the court to answer for alleged burglary, aggravated thefts, receiving stolen goods, and other related offenses. Throughout this operation, the Tadjourah National Police reaffirms its commitment to combating criminal activities, ensuring the safety of citizens and protecting their property. Djibouti faces intense heat accompanied by strong winds. Djibouti, the capital, and some regions are experiencing intense heat and strong winds this Saturday, typical to the summer season. Some areas have received rainfall. The high temperature combined with gases of winds reduced thermal comfort and increased the risks associated with prolonged sun exposure. The weather forecast predicted temperatures that could reach over 40 degrees Celsius during the day, with the westerly winds and stronger gusts at times. Authorities recommend that the populations limit travel during the hottest hours, stay hydrated, seek shade, air-conditioned spaces, and pay particular attention to vulnerable people. For the regional scene, official end of Ebola outbreak following effective health response. Uganda officially declared the end of the Ebola outbreak on July 28, 2026, after 42 days without any new confirmed cases in accordance with international criteria for controlling disease outbreak. The final tally shows 20 confirmed cases, including 18 recovered patients. Health authorities command the rapid mobilizations of medical teams, epidemiological surveillance services, and national and international partners, which made it possible to contain the spread of the virus. This success is based in particular on the early detection of cases, contact tracing, strengthening of health infrastructure, and community awareness campaigns. Despite the official end of the outbreak, the government is maintaining a strengthened surveillance system to prevent any new health alerts and preserve the gains made. For the continental scene, agricultural innovations in Cameroon to better resist the drought in the far north. In Cameroon, researchers at the University of Maroua are developing new agricultural solutions to help producers cope with the effects of climate change, particularly prolonged period of drought in the far north of the countries and the Lake Chad basin. Decreased rainfall and the degradations of water resources are impacting agricultural activities. To address these, researchers are experimenting with techniques to reduce water consumption, preserve soil moisture, and improve crop resilience. These technologies aim to provide farmers with methods adapted to local realities in order to increase yield while optimizing the use of natural resources. Through this research, the University of Marwa intends to contribute to the development of more resilient agricultural and the strengthening of food security in a region particularly vulnerable to climate change. Tanzania has launched a new phase in the development of its standard gauge railway network with the extensions of the Tabora-Kigoma lines to the shores of Lake Tanganyika. This strategic project aims to improve connectivity between the western part of the countries and key regional transport corridors while also facilitating trade with the landlocked neighboring countries. According to the authorities, this infrastructure will reduce logistic costs, increase the flow of goods, and stimulate economic activities in the trade, agricultural, and industrial sectors. Through these extensions, Tanzania aims to strengthen its role as a regional transport hub and further contribute to economic integration in East Africa and the Great Lakes region. For the international scene, Greece and Turkey firefighting operations continues amid the heat wave. Firefighting operations continues in Greece and Turkey, where several forest fires are mobilizing emergency services, in particular difficult conditions. High temperature, drought, and strong winds are complicating firefighters' efforts and fueling the spread of flames in several affected areas. Authorities have deployed significant ground and air resources to control the fires and protect the population and limit environmental damage. Enhanced monitoring systems remains active in high-risk areas, while authorities urge citizens to be vigilant in the face of the risks associated with the extreme heat. These fires illustrate once again the effects of the extreme weather conditions affecting the Mediterranean regions, which is experiencing increasingly frequent episodes of drought and heat waves. And to close up this edition, Trump unveils details of Hamas disarmament agreement, while Israel has yet to finalize its positions. U.S. President Donald Trump unveiled details of what he called a historic agreement aimed at disarming Hamas, stating that this initiative is a key step towards implementing the second phase of the ceasefire agreement in the Gaza Strip, which calls for a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces and the commencement of reconstruction effort. During a government meeting held at Camp David, Donald Trump stated that the U.S. had reached an agreement with Israel on this deal, adding that the Jewish state was very pleased with the plan despite lingering questions about its implementations on the ground. According to the New York Times, the plan calls for the gradual disarmament of Hamas alongside the withdrawal of Israeli forces to the Yellow Lines and the commencement of reconstructions in the Gaza Strip under international supervision as part of the second phase of the ceasefire agreement. However, the Israeli government has not yet announced its official approval of the agreement. Several media outlets report reservations within the ruling coalitions, particularly regarding the link between the withdrawal of the Israeli troops and the disarmament of Hamas, which could complicate and delay the plan's implementation. This development comes as the U.S. And several international actors to continue their effort to consolidate the ceasefires, advance negotiations on prisoners and hostage exchanges, and ensure the delivery of humanitarian aid with the aim of achieving a lasting settlement to the conflict in Gaza. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.